As students die while being punished and teachers remain indifferent, netizens criticize corrupt morality. A Chinese blogger was banned from social media for exposing poverty in the mainland. The CCP released a white paper on the internet, shamelessly flaunting their authoritarianism. Village-level debt in China totals 900 billion yuan, and collective debts are gradually being privatized. Hunan experienced an unexpected appearance of thunder snow in March, causing significant losses for farmers. People are afraid it is a bad omen. It's all covered in today's China Truths. As students die while being punished and teachers remain indifferent, netizens criticize corrupt morality. According to NTD-TV, an online video circulated on the internet shows that a junior high school student in Henan, Hebei province, suddenly collapsed on March 12 while being punished for standing. Notably, the male teacher at the podium showed no concern. It was only when several male students in the back row came forward to check on the student that the teacher slowly walked down from the podium to look at the collapsed student. However, he did not take any rescue action and only asked the student to call the homeroom teacher. By this point, the student's body appeared to be convulsing and kicking his legs wildly. After the homeroom teacher arrived and assessed the situation, an ambulance was called. However, the male teacher did not intervene at any point while several students lifted the collapsed student, as if the incident had nothing to do with him. The student ultimately died, and the father, who watched the surveillance video, criticized the male teacher who was teaching the class for being too indifferent. It took several tens of minutes before the teacher called 120 for an ambulance, and the delayed rescue efforts led to the student's death. Regarding the incident, a student who posted the video on Weibo stated, "The entire process inside the classroom is clearly visible in the surveillance video. The teacher was indeed too indifferent." Another internet user said that the teacher in the school should bear the main responsibility for the child's death. Some also criticized China's education system and moral corruption in the mainland today. These days, teachers are only concerned with grades and are unconcerned about their students' lives and deaths, so the education system has become extremely corrupt. Chiang Wei, the lead medical professional, stated, "There are many sudden fainting situations, such as ruptured brain tumors causing cerebral hemorrhage, low blood sugar, malignant arrhythmia, and so on. The punishment of standing in class is not a big issue." After watching the video, this teacher was too indifferent. He said there was no problem and waited for the homeroom teacher to handle it. Does it mean he did nothing if the homeroom teacher did not come? The school doctor also arrived more than 20 minutes later. The school's response to this type of emergency situation is also problematic. In a previous incident, a video of a tragic incident involving an 8-year-old student in Fujian province went viral on social media. On February 11th, the boy's parents posted a video and article online, revealing that in November 2020, their 8-year-old son, Guamao, while attending class at a primary school in Gulu District, Fuzhou City, felt unwell and raised his hand 7 times within 10 minutes, but the teacher did not take the child out of the classroom for medical treatment. After class, the child had difficulty walking and was assisted down the stairs by the teacher. Unfortunately, the child fell at the corner of the stairs. After receiving a notification from the school, the child's father rushed to the scene, dialed 120, and took his son to the hospital. In the hospital, the child fell into a deep coma and unfortunately passed away. The boy's parents explained that the incident was exposed online after 2 years because they couldn't accept how the school handled the situation. Following that, neither the school nor the teacher involved apologized to the parents. The parents accused the teacher of failing to accept responsibility for their child's death as a result of inadequate medical treatment, and they sued the school and the teacher involved. These are just 2 examples of what is going on in Chinese society today. As a result of the Chinese Communist Party's atheist propaganda, people are increasingly moving away from human inherent moral values and do not believe in the law of cause and effect, causing social morality to deteriorate seriously. Thus, the successive natural disasters and pandemics that occur in mainland China are God's warnings to people that if they do not correct morality in time, the consequences will be even worse. A Chinese blogger was banned from social media for exposing poverty in the mainland. Hu Qinfeng, a Chinese live-streaming host, frequently shares videos that reveal the poverty of mainland Chinese people, with the sole purpose of providing a more truthful representation of their lives on the mainland to a wider audience. However, the CCP does not like this naked truth. According to the Vision Times, Hu Qinfeng had previously produced a series of films showcasing what could be bought with a day's salary in a Chinese mainland supermarket, and what could be purchased with 100 yuan, about $14.52. In comparison to the situation in Western countries, where a day's minimum wage can buy a shopping cart full of milk, eggs, meat, bread, and other items, what a day's salary or 100 yuan can buy in China is pitiful. Therefore, these films were widely disseminated on the internet and sparked lively debates among the public. Recently, Hu Qinfeng uploaded a 5-minute film titled Randomly Finding Elderly People Shopping, I'll Pay For It, which revealed that most people on the mainland have difficult lives, and many are still poor. In the video, Hu Qinfeng interviews elderly people on the streets of Chengdu, Sichuan province, asking about their living conditions and offering to pay for their shopping. After several rejections, he finds an elderly woman from Nancheng, Sichuan, who describes her difficult living conditions, in which her husband had died, and she had moved to Chengdu with her son to make a living. At 78 years old, she still has to work as a nanny and make furniture to support herself, unable to retire and live comfortably. Her son, despite being an engineer, has recently been unemployed and has returned to live with her before the end of the lunar calendar year. He has no income and hasn't eaten meat in a long time. Later, Hu Qinfeng and the elderly woman went to the supermarket and helped her in purchasing rice, flour, pork, and 30 eggs for a total of 127.88 yuan, about $18.57. The elderly woman said she only received a monthly pension of 107 yuan, about $15.54. It is worth mentioning that Hu Qinfeng discovered that the elderly woman had no refrigerator at home and could only store these frozen foods in her neighbor's fridge. After being uploaded to the popular Chinese video sharing website Bilibili on the 14th, not only was this video banned, but all of Hu Qinfeng's other works disappeared in the afternoon of the same day. Also on the 14th, the People's Daily reported that the Chinese Cyberspace Administration was strictly regulating self-media, prohibiting these content creators from using vulnerable groups for traffic monetization, including deceiving and using elderly people for staged videos and illegally obtaining traffic through immoral behavior.
我不清楚以后能不能见面，有可能是最后一次。戳动了他们哪里的祭点，我也不知道为什么所有的视频全部被下架了。我拍这些作品没有任何高大上的初衷，没有。我拍这些作品就是想挣钱，然后在这个途中能够让社会进步一点点。但是我没想到这样是不行的。
Looking up to the sky, he sighed. Regardless, I can hold my head high in front of history, my conscience, and all the netizens who supported me. Currently, Hu Qinfeng has been completely banned from Chinese social media. Some Chinese netizens have commented, "It's so sad that just showing the real lives of most people can get your account banned." The CCP is simply lacking in confidence. According to the Vision Times, the CCP publicly promotes that nearly 100 million poor people in China have achieved full poverty alleviation, but former Premier Li Keqiang, who just retired, publicly stated in 2020 that 600 million people in China have a monthly income of only 1,000 yuan. About $145.20. Following this, Yuan, deputy director of the Institute of Income Distribution at Beijing Normal University, and postdoctoral researcher Meng Fanqiang co-authored an article pointing out that this data is consistent with reality, And China is still a developing country dominated by low-income groups, and the proportion of low-income groups in the country is beyond imagination. The CCP released a white paper on the internet, shamelessly flaunting their authoritarianism. Recently, the CCP has upgraded its facial recognition system to judge an individual's political and financial status based on their social media activity, such as the number of reposts and friends on WeChat Moments, and VPN usage. The system also includes emotional pre-warning monitoring using facial recognition technology. According to NTD-TV, once this information is monitored by the authorities, personal privacy will have nowhere to hide. When this news broke, there was a wave of criticism on social media, with one netizen commenting, "In any communist country, any technology will only be used to monitor the people." Furthermore, the CCP authorities intend to share this digital authoritarianism surveillance technology with the rest of the world. On March 16, the CCP issued a white paper titled "Building a Rule of Law for Cyberspace in China in the New Era," in which they shared their experiences and practices with other countries. This nearly 18,000-word white paper will be available in 8 different languages. The white paper mentions that since 2019, authorities have completed inspections of 3.22 million mobile internet applications and notified or removed nearly 3,000 illegal or non-compliant applications. At the CCP's Internet White Paper release conference, the spokesperson also claimed that each country has different national conditions and the right to choose a development path for internet governance that suits itself. According to experts, despite the flowery rhetoric, this white paper is actually telling the world how the CCP uses modern technology to comprehensively monitor all information about its citizens. Lai Chengchang, convener of the think tank for the Taiwan Economic Democracy Union and a practicing lawyer, said,
习近平把这件事情当成自己的荣耀那其实是非常讽刺的。站在民主国家的角度，尊重基本人权的角度，我们对于中国这样的说法，那觉得相当荒谬。
Wang He, a current affairs commentator, said, "The rule of law is first and foremost about limiting the power of the government and protecting the rights of the people, but the CCP is now depriving the people of their rights and strengthening the government's power. The CCP is considering the interests of one-party dictatorship, not the interests of the people." According to the Epoch Times, over the past 20 years, the CCP has used the Great Firewall of China, a sophisticated and intricate censorship tool, to block almost all foreign news and social media, as well as filter out any topics that it perceives as threatening to its rule. Jiang Zemin, the former leader of the CCP, is said to have initiated China's internet censorship. According to public information, Jiang Mianheng, the oldest son of Jiang Zemin, led the development of China's Great Firewall, while Fang Binqing, who is known as the father of China's Great Firewall, was responsible for its research and development. The Great Firewall was installed at the international interfaces of China's 2 largest internet service providers, China Telecom and China Unicom, as well as at the backbone network's provincial gateways. Its main functions include keyword filtering, IP blocking, domain name hijacking, and filtering HTTPS encrypted transmission. On December 2 of last year, China expert Heng Yi told the Epoch Times, both the Great Firewall and the Golden Shield project were initiated or proposed in 1998. Because Jiang Zemin launched a crackdown on Falun Gong the following year, 1999, these 2 projects were developed and implemented in their early stages primarily with Falun Gong practitioners, their communication networks, and information dissemination as the main opponents. Village-level debt in China totals 900 billion yuan, and collective debts are gradually being privatized. During the recent 2 sessions of the Chinese Communist Party, a proposal was introduced by the Chinese Democratic National Construction Association. The proposal referenced a Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs sampling survey, which disclosed that village-level organizations in China have accumulated a total debt of 900 billion yuan, approximately $129.31 billion, as of the first half of 2019. In China's 700,000 administrative villages, the village-level organization's average debt is 1.3 million yuan, approximately $187,000. However, there is currently no precise information available regarding the amount of money spent during the 3 years of the COVID-19 pandemic across the country's 700,000 natural villages or whether new debts have been incurred. Notably, the accrued interest continues to increase the total debt, even without any new debts being added. In Hunan province alone, indebted villages in 2020 accounted for 72.49% of the total rural villages in the province, with an average debt of 1.08 million yuan, approximately $155,000 per village. The proposal presented during the recent 2 sessions of the Chinese Communist Party attributed the persistent increase in village-level debt to the insufficient financial resources of village-level organizations. These organizations often resort to new loans to finance various projects, leading to a significant stock of debt and an escalation in financial risk. According to the Epoch Times, the CCP's National Rural Revitalization Bureau has been actively promoting the construction of new rural areas in recent years. Under this initiative, many rural areas have embarked on projects such as beautiful villages, nursing homes, and immigrant new villages, with the expectation of receiving subsidies or funding from their county governments. However, many county governments are also facing financial difficulties, and their promises to fund these projects have frequently turned out to be empty. One of the most widely promoted rural projects in China currently is tourism. The Chinese government has made significant efforts to boost the economy by attracting tourists from other regions to visit rural areas. However, the current tourism model in China, which comprises small commodity shops, rural guest houses, and hotels built in the same cultural region with similar mountain and river landscapes, has failed to attract local tourists, let alone tourists from other regions. In China's rural areas, collective debts are overwhelming, and small villages with large debts have become a widespread issue. Furthermore, investigations conducted by reporters have revealed that the distribution of village-level organizational debts in China is uneven. For example, in provinces and cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Guangdong, Fujian, and Shandong, administrative villages typically have strong economic development capabilities, with more collective industries and relatively better debt repayment capabilities. However, research indicates that in most rural towns in western and central China, there is a lack of industries, and the debts owed by these villages far exceed the national average of 1.3 million yuan, approximately $187,000. County-level governments in these regions are struggling to repay their debts, and they are often reliant on pre-allocated funds from provincial and municipal governments. As a result, these rural areas face significant financial difficulties. Over the past few years, village collective debts in China have increasingly become privatized, with close interest groups of village officials acting as creditors while the collective acts as the debtor. The primary incentive for forming village-level debts is the collusion of interests driven by political achievements. These projects are fat meat for village officials, and various interest entities participate in their construction. The higher-level government seeks political achievements, the village collective wants to save face, and the officials seek personal benefits. According to Shan, an expert on Chinese issues and current affairs commentator, these debts have no bearing on officials at all levels, as they leave when their term is up. The brunt of the burden falls on ordinary farmers, who are left struggling to repay the debts. On March 12, he told the Epoch Times, "Ordinary farmers are unlucky." According to the Chinese National Bureau of Statistics, China's urbanization rate is 65%, and the country's rural permanent population is 490 million. Simple calculations show that each farmer owes an average of 18,400 yuan, approximately $2,644. Chinese farmers lack basic social welfare, and they are now inexplicably burdened with debt. These debts will put them under financial strain and may even disrupt their normal lives. Hunan experienced an unexpected appearance of thunder snow in March, causing significant losses for farmers. People are afraid it is a bad omen. On March 16th, the term Hunan snow went viral on Weibo's trending search list. That day, the Hunan Meteorological Bureau issued 29 blizzard warnings, including 6 red warnings. According to the Hunan Meteorological Bureau, on the 16th, there was moderate to heavy rain and snow in some counties and cities in central and western China, with local blizzards. Starting from the night of the 15th, Luoyang City experienced rain and snow or heavy snow. According to a video that circulated on the internet, heavy snowfall struck Zhengzhou, Hunan, causing multiple warehouses in a logistics park to collapse and causing significant losses. Among them, Xianan County had higher snowfall intensity, and Song County, Luanchuan, and Luaning successively issued blue snowstorm warnings and yellow road icing warnings. Many videos and photos on the internet show large snowflakes covering many areas in Hunan, including Sanmenxia, Yima, Mianqi, Xinxin Mountain in Xinmi, Luanchuan, Songxian, and Luaning counties in Luoyang, with accumulations as thick as quilts. The snow had frozen the newly blooming peach blossoms. Especially in the Sanmenxia area, everything has turned white, and a large number of vehicles are stranded on the Lianhua Expressway. Not only did it snow in Hunan, but a phenomenon known as thunder snow also occurred. In a video, a Luoyang resident stated that outside, there was a lot of thunder, and I thought there was an explosion somewhere. It was shocking to open the window, and there had never been so much snow in winter. According to NTD-TV, this sudden blizzard caused significant losses to farmers. Mr. Yin from Nanyang, Hunan, said that in an instant, the heavy snow collapsed his grape greenhouse, and all of his 40 acres of grape shed were damaged. He lamented that the loss was approximately 20,000 yuan per acre, with a total loss of over 800,000 yuan, about 117,000 US dollars. I've never seen snow in March in 50 years. It was finally time for the grapes to sprout after 11 years of planting, but a heavy snowfall ruined the family's income. NTD-TV also reported a week prior, the temperature in Zhengzhou had exceeded 30 degrees Celsius, but a week later, a blizzard hit, and it was a thunder snow, shocking due to the abnormal weather. A proverb states, when thunder snows, people eat iron, and when thunder snows, grave mounds grow. This predicts a major disaster, weather anomalies, reduced food production, and famine. It's a bad omen. On the night of February 24, 2021, the 13th day of the first lunar month, thunders in Zhengzhou's winter, causing a phenomenon known as thunder snowstorm. That same year, Zhengzhou experienced a devastating flood on July 20th, and many people lost their lives. The exact death toll remains unknown. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.